Welcome to Cougars football with Joe Moczygemba. That's Coach Mooch. I'm your host, Brant Freeman. Canyon coming off a tough loss in 27 6A play this past Friday, 42-17 against a very talented Steele football team. Coach, looking back at the game from this past Friday, from a competitive standpoint, how well did you feel as if your team competed?
I thought we competed well. We went in there and we, didn't go in there overwhelmed thinking, oh, we're playing Steele, or, some people can get like that. I think our kids are kind of over that. They know what they're going up against every week, and they get in there and they're going to fight and compete.
Also like the way you look back at the football game where Steele jumps out to a 14-0 lead. They get a special teams touchdown. Some teams might be overwhelmed by that, but you responded with a touchdown drive right after. The resolve was really something to see.
Right, and the kids are doing well. We're not getting the wins that we want to get, obviously, but they're getting in some situations where we're having to fight and claw to try to get back in the ball game, and they're doing that. They go down and score offensively, like you said, and our first drive on offense wasn't what we wanted. We punt to them, and they run it back for a touchdown. And as you said, it's 14-0. It'd be real easy to go crawl in a hole and say, well, it's just not our night. We didn't, and we're not going to.
A really tough sequence, though, came towards the end of the first half where you drive it inside the 5-yard line, settle for a field goal to make it a 28-10 game. Right. But then on the ensuing possession by Steele, the Knights go down the field and score. So there was a chance it could have been a 14-point game at halftime. Instead, it was 25. How tough was that? That
was a big swing. We had to put together a good drive to get down there, and it's 28-7, I guess. And a lot of people probably think, well, why don't you go try to knock it in and get a touchdown here? Well, like I said, we put together a pretty nice drive. Felt like it was good for us to put some points on the board. It was 21-10 then, or 28-10 at that point, coming out of the half. And unfortunately, we left too much time on the clock, and they were able to take it down and put another one in right there before we went in at halftime.
Looking at the play of your defense, specifically in the second half, you held Steele to only 7 points after halftime. Did you feel as if your defense got better as the game moved along?
Well, we had a couple of issues in the first half, self-inflicted. Missing, we might miss here, miss there, line up, wrong on occasion. I think we felt like we got that solved at halftime and came out and played better in the second half. Looking
at the offense, you ran the football 50 times against Steele, fairly effectively as well, around 4 yards per carry. Right. How well did you feel as if you did run the football?
I thought we ran the ball pretty well. Converted some fourth downs. We're 100% on those. Running the football, I feel like I think that's where our strength is right now. I think we're able to run the ball pretty well. We're throwing it around okay at times, but right now I think we're a little bit better off running the football.
Something that a lot of people have to keep in mind, looking at your football team, there's still some areas which are very young. By my count, 20 players are either juniors or sophomores in your two deep. Looking at their progression throughout this season, have you seen some growth there from your younger players?
Oh, there's no doubt. We talked about that. We talked about that Saturday and this morning. We're not where we were. Back in August, we're not where we want to be either. But I don't think there's any football teams, whether regardless of record, that they're going to sit down this morning and say, we're right where we need to be. You're always striving to get better, to improve, and that's what we're trying to do.
Again, Canyon coming off a loss at Steele from this past Friday, 42-17. Coming up this Friday, the Cougars are back home hosting Smithson Valley. We'll preview that game coming up, but right now, time for this week's Cougar Challenge with our very own Emily Wick. Emily?
So welcome to another episode of Cougars Challenge. So guys, can you please introduce yourselves to me down there?
Hello, my name's Oliver Terrazas.
My name is Elijah Terrazas.
My name is Antonio De Leon.
Very good. And if you think you're seeing double down there, you are. They're twins. So here's our first question of the day. Name the colors of the rainbow in order. Oh, that was fast. Antonio?
Red, orange, yellow, green, brown.
You were so close. Who's next? Let me hear it.
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet.
Oliver, you want to take a crack at it?
Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Yes, that is right. You get a point.
That was all right.
Next question. True or false? Can a cougar roar? Antonio?
Yes, they can.
Oh, sorry. The answer is false. It cannot roar. What it can do is scream, whistle, hiss, and meow. It can purr too. Can any of you purr? Next question, true or false? Are cougars herbivores? Antonio?
No.
That is right. False. What are they?
Carnivores.
This is correct too. Good job, Antonio. Are you guys herbivores?
No.
Yes.
Kind of.
We're
both.
omnivores.
Omnivores. There you go. I was waiting to see if y'all think that through. Good job. Y'all look like y'all eat meat. Y'all are some big boys. Next question. What is an adult female horse called? Antonio?
A dude.
It is not a dude. No. Anyone else? Elijah?
A horse?
It is a horse, but specifically it is a... Oliver, do you know?
I'm going to go with a stallion.
It is actually a mare. A
mare,
female
a mare,
horse
that
is
sounds-
called a mare. Which college football team mascot is a banana slug? A banana slug.
Slug, that's like a bug.
It's-
An insect.
That is. It's a very slimy bug. The slug is a slimy bug.
I can't do that.
No points lost. Anyone want to take a crack at it?
I couldn't even begin.
It is UC Santa Cruz. So that was a tough one. We were tied up neck and neck. I can't even stand it. I can't even call who's won. So you all get a shirt. Coach Brant, back to you.
Go Cougars!
Yeah.
Thanks, Emily. As always, a lot of fun with the Cougar Challenge. We're going to have some more fun of the show coming up in just a bit because after the break, we're previewing Canyon's upcoming game against fellow Comal ISD program, Smithson Valley, in the Comal Bowl. That preview coming up next. Back with more Cougars football with Joe Moczygemba.
Where Zaxby's is from. Some like it classic. Some like it saucy. For others, it's gotta be crispy. But everyone loves the flavor that brings us together. And whether you like it spicy or old school, you'll like it even more. Because Zaxby's 5 fan favorites are now just $5.99 each. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's.
If you bank at Frost, we'll help keep your money safe. If you use your Frost debit card, the chip will make it more secure. If there's a suspicious transaction on your card, you'll get an alert. If you do, you can freeze your card with the Frost app. If you lose your phone, Touch ID login will help keep the app secure. Of course, if all you need is help from people who care, we've got that too.
All right, welcome back to the studios here of Cougars football with Joe Moczygemba, your host Brant Freeman with Coach Mooch. Coming up Friday, Canyon back home taking on the 6-1 Smithson Valley Rangers, coming off their first loss of the season, 16-10 to Clemens this past Friday. Coach, on the opposing sideline, a good friend of yours, Larry Hill.
Yeah, he's been a good friend of mine for a long time, but Friday night, maybe not so much. Huh?
Well, you obviously were at Smithson Valley for a long time. working with Coach Hill, the philosophies that were ingrained there. How much have you tried to implement that for your own program at Canyon?
Well, they're different places, so you try to take what you like and what you know, and of course most of the stuff that I learned from Coach Hill, being my mentor and learning everything, a lot that I did, him giving me opportunities. Take a lot of it over there, trying to have a disciplined program, get kids to act right and do right and get on the football field and play with extreme effort. So. I've learned a lot from it through the years.
Looking at the matchup itself, this is one of the more balanced offenses you'll have faced this season. Smithson Valley is pretty even between the run and the pass. Their quarterback is new this season,
Right.
Levi Williams, but really not a first-year player anymore. He's 7 games into his varsity career. Looking at Smithson Valley's offense, what does your defense have to do to slow it down?
Well, you mentioned it, being balanced, and I know Coach Hill pretty well. Being balanced doesn't mean we're going to throw the ball 50% of the time and we're going to run it 50% of the time. It just means that we've got to be able to do both things effectively, and they do both things as effective as anybody that you'll play. Are they as good at it as anybody else? I don't know, but they're going to make you defend the field. You're going to have to stop the run, and you better be ready to stop the pass also. So.
Other side of the football, last week you played a Steele team which its secondary was really good. It was tough to throw the football against them. You look at Smithson Valley's defense, kind of the same story there. 2 really good corners on the outside, Mason Pierce, Trevon Merrick-Woodard. They can be tough to run the ball against as well. How do you move the football and score points against them?
Well, we're going to start off trying to run the football against them. They're a real aggressive front. They're not as big as the teams that we've seen on their D-line. They're not real big, but they're real aggressive, play with great pad level. They do a good job over there defensively. So we're going to dig in there, try to run the ball at them, and then hit them when we can with the pass.
And looking at the history between these two teams, again, you've been on the other side of this rivalry before. What typically happens in a Canyon-Smithson Valley game? What does it come down to?
It comes down to taking care of your own football team. It comes down to getting yourself prepared for the ball game, and then going in there and not hurting yourself. It's a game where you won't be able to create a bunch of errors. You won't be able to have a bunch of penalties. You won't be able to turn the ball over if you're going to have a chance on either side. So,
all right, Coach. Well, good luck against Smithson Valley on Friday.
Appreciate it.
Again, the Cougars hosting the Rangers this Friday. A game we'll have for you right here on the Cougars Network. Kickoff is at 7:30, and our coverage starts at 7:15. For Coach Mooch, I'm Brant Freeman. This has been Cougars Football with Joe Moczygemba. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you again next week.